All right, so it's Thursday, so it's time for DIY. We're switching things up a little bit. Now, in today's rough economic conditions, some people are trying to find ways in which they could save money. One of the things we spend so much money on is food. So there are actually ways in which you could do things to save some money with the food that you eat, so you could actually grow your food at home. Now, today in today's DIY, I'm going to show you how to use kitchen scraps to start your kitchen garden. So for this, what you would need is a little knife. You would need a spoon, and I'll show you why later on. And then I have some common things you have in the kitchen that you can actually just grow at home very simply and have it so you don't have to go spend money at the market or the supermarket all the time. So say this head of lettuce, you're going to make your salads and such. This is actually a living thing. So what you could actually do after you cut the base off, the base usually still has the root end on it. So what you could do after you save this good stuff for your salad, you keep the base, you pull out the outer leaves, right? Pull out the outer leaves. Make sure that you trim it well, okay? And then you can take a glass or something. So you're actually gonna leave this in water for a few days. It will take probably about 10 days or so. Will sprout some roots after you plant it in your water, and it sprouts the roots. You could transfer it to a plant pot, and here we have our first thing. So you could start buying lettuce, which is roughly around $7 a head, $8 sometimes, depending on the season. So you can leave this in a relatively sunny area, not too strong of sunlight. You could do a similar thing with bok choy and other similar vegetables.
I think in Trinidad we say pak choy.
Well, classically
in case
trained.
people didn't know what we were talking about.
Classically trained here,
Yes,
so
yes.
I use the thing. Another simple vegetable or herb rather that you could do that with. So you see you have this old shadow benny, and what happened is that it dried out in the fridge.
And in Trinidad we say bandanya.
Well, shadow benny, bandanya.
Yes.
People
so
call
we're
it
going back to
different things.
the days when our grandparents would have used it. So pak choy and bandanya.
Yeah, so similarly, you can, so this could go directly into soil, all right? So you could take the root end. So you use this for your chow or your seasoning or whatever you want to do, and you could save the root end. Again, you could place it in directly in soil. It does very well. It needs to be hydrated really well so that it has its leaves sprout. This grows very quickly, so within a few days, within a week even, you'd start seeing some nice bright green leaves. What I would actually do with this one is wrap this in some paper towel. That would help keep the moisture. All right, so I'm wrapping the root end. I'm still leaving the leaf ends out, all right? And in an appropriately sized container with some water in it, because you want to control the moisture. So I have less water. If I could just catch the camera properly, there we go. And you want to just leave that up right in there. So that would actually start sprouting. You can leave this in a place with strong sunlight. It will start sprouting, and then you could transfer it to a plant pot or to your trough outside. Maybe in a next DIY, I'll show you how to make a planter so you could actually have your herbs and actually have your kitchen garden in your kitchen. All right. The next thing that you could use to grow, and this has a little trick to it. This is garlic. You need the garlic with the skin on. Now you know how garlic is very pungent, and the reason you want to use the skin on one is that allows it, when it's in the skin, it's still alive and it can grow. So you see the root end over here. So after a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, you will start seeing it sprouting. What you want to do is plant this directly into soil. So I don't have soil with me today. I didn't want to dirty the studio. I certainly didn't want to have to clean up after. So you leave the skin on. You plant this in the soil in this direction. So you don't plant it. So this is the root end here. You don't plant it with the root down. You actually plant it on its side. What's going to happen is that this is going to sprout something I call garlic grass. And the trick to it, for it to form the bulb, is that you need to actually trim the garlic grass off so that it stops taking energy to sprout the grass, and it would then take the sun's energy to sprout a bulb below the ground. All right, so that's the trick with the garlic. These chives, in Trinidad we'll call it chive.
Yes.
All right, but the proper pronunciation is actually chives. Same thing. You're going to make your seasoning, so you cut your root off, and this usually goes to waste. So instead of it going to waste, I have some paper towel here again, and I'm going to do a similar process in an appropriately sized container with some water at the bottom, maybe a little more than this. but you get the idea. Same thing you want to do. Again, this could go directly into the ground if you have soil that is favorable for this type of plant. You want to wrap the bottom with paper towel as well. You know, you place it in your container upright. Again, this could go in an area with sunlight by a window or something like that. Ensure that you water it daily, not too much water because you don't want to saturate it. And finally, you could let that grow and then you can transfer that to the soil. And I guess what? Then you don't have to buy chives all the time. They go for roughly $5 a bundle depending on where you go. This one I'm excited about because I love pineapples.
Me too, pineapple is like the greatest thing.
Now people, they usually just take the head and they break it off like that. But if you want the pineapple to grow, the process is a little different. So using your knife, you actually need to come down a little bit into the fruit. And you have a little work to do here. So you're going to cut the head off, yes, but you're leaving some on because there's something very specific you're looking for. There we go. Now I need to trim this, and if I could just get the camera there. And you're going to go in with your knife a little bit and you're going to trim around. Just be mindful with these spikes here is a little bit irritable to the hands. So just work slowly, work gingerly. And speaking of ginger, you could actually just plant ginger and it grows easily. They have some spuds or sprouts on them. You just water them every couple of days somewhere with strong sunlight, and they would actually grow a ginger plant, and below the root would develop as well. So I'm going around here, and what you're looking for, if we could come in, if I could get a zoom in on this camera directly in front of me, you'd see some endings here. So these are actually fibers and root endings that comes from the head. That's what you're looking for. So you want to ensure that you just trim around the excess. All right, you'd see these root endings, and you want the root endings to just touch the water. So what you want to do is get another container. I'm using mason jars just because they look nice. And again, if it's too deep, you know, you could get rid of some of the water. And you want the root end to just touch, and you leave this in a place with strong sunlight. In a few, maybe about 2 weeks' time, it would sprout roots. You could then transfer it to a plant pot, and then you could put this in your garden. And finally, the last one, I want to show this trick really quick. We're almost done here. I'm actually out of time, but this one I wanted to show. All right, so you have this cucumber here. Cucumbers have a lot of seeds, and people probably wonder, like, how do you get cucumber to grow? No. You know, if you're like me and you like salads, cucumber is something that you have often. That's why I have this spoon over here now. So what you actually do, and the trick to it, is using a spoon, scraping the seeds out into a container with water in it. And this is how you actually harvest the seeds. What's going to happen is that the pulp will float while the seeds will sink. And you allow it to settle so you can then harvest the seeds from it. So we're going to just put this here. You can actually stir this around to kind of separate the pulp from the seeds. All right, so this will take some time, so we won't see it in real time. What's going to happen is that the pulp itself will float up and the seeds will settle at the bottom, and then you could just take a spoon and take the pulp out, drain off the water. You then take the seeds and put it on paper towel. You dampen the paper towel, take another one and put it over. What you do is put the entire thing into a Ziploc bag. You need to keep it moist for a while. So you put the seeds that are wrapped in the damp paper towel into a Ziploc bag. You seal the Ziploc bag and you put it somewhere dark for a couple days.
Dark, why dark?
Because for them to germinate, some of them need to be in the darkness versus when in the sunlight, because it will dry out. So there we go. It'll sprout some things, and you can transfer that to, it'll sprout some little sprouts, you'll transfer that to the soil. All right, so that is it for DIY today. So we just see just a little example of how to use your kitchen scraps to start your kitchen garden, save yourself some money, and get yourself some nutritious fruit and vegetables that you actually know where it comes from, no preservatives, no nothing. So probably adds to your health as well. And that is it for today for DIY.